Hello, hello, good morning. Happy Sunday. Okay, I'm gonna clean the lens on my phone. That's a bit better. Was looking a little hazy there. Good morning, everyone. Oh, and I forgot my AirPods. Let's hope this works. Nope. All right, I think I'm connected. If somebody could confirm that they can hear me, that would be awesome. I'm just going to try and get myself sorted here. Okay. Good morning, Denise. Denise, can you hear me? Can you confirm that you can hear me? I just put on my AirPods and I just want to make sure you can hear me. Okay, amazing. Amazing. Just gonna find this on my computer so that I can see comments. All right, now I can see you. Good morning, my friends. Hello, everybody. For those of you that are joining for the first time, my name is Zara Premji, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Markham, Ontario, Canada. And every Sunday morning, I am here with coffee to do a Facebook Live paper crafting tutorial. So I am gonna I always chat a little bit because, you know, we're in lockdown and I don't get to see people very much. So I talk to you guys the way I would if I was seeing you out somewhere. So you might have to bear with a little bit of chatter, and I have lots to share with you today. And then I'm gonna flip the camera down and we are going to do some paper crafting. Good morning, Barb. Good morning, Natalie. Hi, Janice, Sonia. Hi, friends. So thank you so much for joining me. If you're watching for the first time, thank you so much for being here. I love sharing paper crafting with friends, and it's actually one of the things I look forward to the most during my week is my weekly Facebook Lives. I do them Wednesday evening at 8:30 Eastern and Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. And we call this Coffee and a Card, and I always have coffee here, of course. And lots of people bring their coffee along too. So hopefully this is entertaining and inspiring for you. It gives you a chance to connect with others and to enjoy, of course, paper crafting. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my weekend because it was kind of busy. And then we're going to get right into the paper crafting. So let's talk a little bit about Stamp Camp. I've been a demonstrator for 8 years, and I have been running stamp camps for probably 6 or 6.5 of them. Good morning, Natalie. You have your coffee? I've got my Mama Bear mug, and I'm on coffee number 2. So if you guys see my hands shaking a little when I'm actually doing my paper crafting, you'll know why. So I've been running my stamp camps for over 6 years, and I do them 3 times a year. So every time a new catalog launches, I will be doing a stamp camp. I used to do them in person, so I would rent a hall and I would provide lunch and snacks, and we would make 10 different cards and we would fill the room and just have a grand old time together crafting. And what I really loved about Stamp Camp was, in addition to obviously providing some inspiration for card making, it was also just a really nice opportunity for women to give themselves, and men, we've had men at Stamp Camps too, to give themselves a little bit of time for themselves and to just spend the day connecting with friends and just having a creative outlet. So obviously when the pandemic hit, it was not feasible to do it that way. So I shifted my stamp camps to virtual. So beginning in June of last year, all of my stamp camps have been taking place online and through Zoom and a private Facebook group. And initially, having to make the change was hard for me because I had gotten so used to doing them a certain way. But what I quickly realized is that doing them virtually gave us an opportunity to have friends join us from all over Canada first. And then I partnered with another demonstrator in the US. And so what we actually were able to do was gather people from both Canada and the US together on a Zoom and paper craft together. So So my friend Jennifer, she's One Crafty Sister is her business name. She and I partnered to do our second stamp camp yesterday, and it was a summer stamp camp, and we had a summer theme, and we wore big beach hats and sunglasses, and we just had a really, really good time stamping together. So good morning, Shams. Good morning, Margaret Ann. Hi, Heather. Okay, so thanks so much for joining, everybody. So stamp camp was really fun. So when I flip the camera down, I'm going to show you all of the goodies that were included in the stamp camp goodie bag. So what happens is people pay for their stamp camp, and included in that is a $50 goodie bag of product, as well as all the materials to make 10 different cards. We feature 2 different stamp sets. So we, Jennifer and I each pick one that we're going to design with, and she designs 5 cards. I design 5 cards. And so it's nice for people to get a really good feel for a particular stamp set and different ways that it can be used. And so we pick 2 different stamp sets, we design, and then we package all the card kits and send them out to people, as well as some other pillow gifts and all sorts of other fun little surprises. We do usually over $500 in prizes, and there are product demonstrations. It's kind of like just like a, I don't know, a card making class on steroids, I guess you could say. So it was a fun day, and we already have so many people signed up for our next one. So we're going to be doing one featuring the new holiday catalog that will be coming out. So it is going to be on September 18th. Save the date if you are interested in joining us. There are still a few spots left, and we're going to be doing all sorts of fun seasonal holiday card making and paper crafting fun thingies. So I think that's it for the chatter. I don't know. Maybe I have more to say. I always have lots to say. Hello, Nicole. Hi, Carmen. And Janice says, and although I couldn't participate in all the stamp camp, it was a lot of fun. I'm so happy to hear that, Janice. I'm sorry that you had the day that you did, and I'm glad that you were able to take in a little bit of stamp camp here and there, and you won a prize, which is awesome. Good morning, Amy from Indiana. Hi, friends. Okay, so I'm going to have a big swig of my coffee, and then I'm going to flip the camera down. I will show you the cards that we made at Stamp Camp this weekend, and one of them has inspired my project for today, so you guys will get to see that. Good morning, Janice. Thank you. I got it. Okay, so I always have lots to say. After Stamp Camp was done, because I had a bingo the night before, I had a stamping bingo the night before. And so after Stamp Camp was done, I was completely wiped, and I basically sat outside on the deck for the rest of the night. And I went to bed, I think it was like 11 o'clock at night, and I said to my husband, I am not waking up early, because I have a tendency to wake up at like 5:30, 6 o'clock a.m. And I said, I'm sleeping in, nobody disturb me, I'm not setting an alarm. And I was so excited to sleep, and don't my eyes open at 6:37 a.m. So I've been up so early. So I had a coffee out on the deck, and I had a shower, and I decided I had lots of time to actually get ready. So I'm going to be going out with my daughter today. We're going to go to a splash pad, and then I'm meeting with a friend out on the deck tonight for a little cocktail and just to catch up. So I figured I could, get dressed a little bit. Good morning, Gloria. Thank you for joining. Okay, my friends, are you ready? Are you ready to see the stamp camp? I'm even going to show you our bingo cards that we did, and so lots of inspiration. If you like any of the projects and you feel like you'd like to recreate them, you can take screenshots of them. I will, of course, post pictures later, so you'll get to see lots of the inspiration from the weekend. Okay, so let me flip the camera down, and then we'll get started. All right. I think that should be good. Let's see. Yes, Janice, you had Lady Luck on your side today. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Let's see if this is going to stay. I might have to shift my grid paper. Okay, ladies. Are we ready to go? Ladies and gents. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Stamp Camp. So the way that my Stamp Camp works, like I said, people pay a registration fee. I can ship to anywhere in Canada, and Jennifer can ship anywhere in the US. Okay, so we partner together on this, but we can't ship across borders. So some of the people that had registered with Jennifer in Florida, they actually have relatives in Canada, so they were actually able to join as well, and so they got to craft together virtually, which was really cool. So in your Stamp Camp package, you will usually get about $50 worth of product. So here's what was included in the Stamp Camp packages this time. So everybody got a quarter pack of 2 different designer series papers, which we've already cut into. They were just like, they're stunning papers. So we have the Expressions in Ink, and this is just this gorgeous specialty paper that has some gold detailing on one side, and then on the other sides there are still gorgeous patterns, beautiful like sort of alcohol blended ink, and it's just stunning. It's maybe my favorite paper in the catalog, or I have 2 favorites, and we got to use them both at Stamp Camp this weekend. The other one is the hand penned, and this is the one with all these gorgeous floral patterns, and so everybody got a quarter pack of this as well. Okay, so it was really there was lots of goodies. People also got a package of the Baker's Twine Essentials pack, and then a package of the Genial Gems. They also got a package of the Expressions in Ink Ephemera Pack, and then they also got a roll of the gold shimmer ribbon, which I don't actually have, so I can't show it to you. And then everyone got some cute little pillow gifts. So we did these little wraps where everybody got a kind of like drink crystal mix. The ones in Canada got raspberry peach because we were going with the peach theme here. And then there was a straw, but I needed it yesterday for my drink. And then we decorated these really cute mini paper pumpkin boxes. And inside, everybody got an amazingly delicious peach themed cookie. So my cookie lady in that lives close by me, I had sent her a picture from the catalog of the peach stamp set. So she was able to recreate this. She used what I think is close to our new in color Pale Papaya, and she completely nailed the font. Let me see if I can actually find it so you can see how close she got it. So where is our Sweet as a Peach? Page 61. So I just sent her a picture of this this stamp set, and she was able to replicate the font to say "Have a Peachy Day," and I just think it's striking how similar how she nailed it. So, and the cookie was delicious too. Like, we couldn't not eat it. So I had one extra, which I promised I would share with my kids. So I better get it out of my craft room, otherwise I will eat it. So that was Stamp Camp. That's the goodie bag. And then everybody got card packets. So let me show you the cards that we designed for Stamp Camp. And let me do this here. Okay, so I designed 5 cards using the Color and Contour stamp set. So it's really nice because a lot of people love stamp sets, but then just want some ideas for how to use them. So I designed with the Color and Contour, and Jen designed with it's called Biggest Wish, and I don't have it right next to me, but I'll show you the cards that we made. So this is one. These are some of the cards that people made with the Color and Contour. Some people didn't actually have the stamp set and used other stamp sets. We kind of design it so that people can use any stamp sets on the labels and stamp different sentiments and use different images. So it was really neat to see how other people's turned out using different stamp sets. And some people just changed things up. They might have used a different pattern of paper or oriented things differently, but these were the 5 cards that we had done using the Color and Contour suite. So I love florals, I love pastels, and so these cards just made my heart happy. And then Jennifer's cards were using the Expressions in Ink paper, and she used the Biggest Wish stamp set. So these are the cards that she had designed. Now, I didn't have the gold shimmer ribbon, so my cards looked a little different than everybody else's, but still pretty nonetheless. And it just goes to show you how you can modify things. You can modify samples and still have them look really pretty. So these are the 5 cards that Jennifer designed, and people just loved them all. They were just fabulous cards. So, and we learned some really cool techniques, and this card here is actually using designer series paper as the card base. So that was really neat that we could take that beautiful paper and actually use more of it on the card, and use some other, elements and details from other projects. Good morning, Celia. Thank you for joining me today. Okay, let me show you my bingo cards too. So when we do bingo, we play 7 rounds of bingo, and the prizes are amazing Stampin' Up product. And then I design cards because we want to, of course, stamp. And I design the cards quite simply so that people can, again, use whatever stamp sets they have and so that it also doesn't take too long to make the card. So all of the texture embossing and everything is done for you, and then people just basically stamp and assemble. So this is one of the cards, really cute and simple. This one here, so I use the Lighthearted Lines stamp set. So this one here says, I hate to break it to you, but you're stuck with me. And then inside it says friends forever. So I thought that was a really fun and cute card. This one had some texture embossing as well. I used the macrame embossing folder, and this paper is from the Bloom Where You're Planted suite. And then this one here says, everything is figure-outable. This is one of my favorite quotes from Marie Forleo. She's one of my favorite, I guess she's like a coach and thought leader, and she wrote a book called Everything is Figure-outable. So I love that particular saying. And this one here, this background here is using the stitched Greenery dies, okay, or die, I should say. It's one die cut. It's kind of like an embossing folder, except it doesn't just emboss, it actually creates little cuts to do this beautiful stitched greenery. So it's sold on its own. It's not actually sold as part of a bundle. And it's in our new annual catalog. And then lastly, we used the same stamp set, and I just cut the happy birthday and just added some other kind of fun details to it. So that's lots and lots of card inspiration for you if you want to take a screenshot of that. And I'm just going to get set up, and we are going to get stamping. So everything that I'm using today is available in my online store. You can use this link here, bit.ly/online store Zara, and I'll put it in the description as well. And if you use my host code, you're also going to get a free gift this month. So the gift for the month is you will get a free embossing folder. And if you don't have an embossing machine, or you already have this folder, you can just send me an email and I will order something else for you. This is the Pretty Flowers embossing folder, and this is the one that's used on this card here, just so that you can see it in real life. We had a few comments from people that the catalog actually doesn't do it justice. So then when they saw the actual texture embossing on this piece, they were like, oh my gosh, I have to have it. So, so you'll get this for free, as well as 23 project tutorials and a handmade card in the mail and all sorts of other fun stuff, okay? So I told you that the card that I'm going to be doing today is inspired by one of the cards that we did yesterday. So this is a card that was designed by Jennifer, and she used some panels of the designer series paper, and then some pieces of the Expressions in Ink Ephemera Pack, and then our beautiful Shimmer Vellum. So I'm going to make this card, but I'm going to do it in a different, it's going to have different patterns of the designer series paper, and I'm going to use a different stamp set. So let's get started. Thank you, Denise. I'm glad that you love it. Okay, so I'm going to use a Pale Papaya card base, and the reason I chose that is because I've got Pale Papaya in this pattern of paper that I chose here. Okay, so it's just going to be a slightly different look. And these flowers are punched out using our Shimmer Vellum. Okay, so this is a new product in our catalog, and I'm going to flip it back and forth and hope that you can kind of see the shimmer on it. As Jen described it, she said it's almost like they took our colored vellum and dipped it in like Wink of Stella. So it's just this beautiful glittery shimmer. It's not too overpowering, or it won't leave flecks all over your surface. So really beautiful. And these are punched out with the flowers and leaves punch. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to start by doing some texture embossing, and I'm going to use a piece of basic white, and I'm going to use my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and we're going to use the Tasteful Textile embossing folder. Yes, oh my goodness, it's so gorgeous. The vellum is stunning. Okay, let me move these off. So when you get your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you also get something called a specialty plate. It's this dark gray plate. And you'll want to use this if you're using our thicker embossing folders. So our Tasteful Textile embossing folder is what we call a 3D folder. So it's a bit thicker, and it won't go through with just the two regular clear plates. So you just basically put your cardstock into the folder, you layer it with one plate, and then you put it right onto your platform, and you roll it through and hope that it goes. Hold on a second. There we go. And you roll it through, and you hope that you're not going to knock over your coffee, which I did yesterday during Stamp Camp. My husband had bought me a Starbucks, and I was moving my camera stand at one point and didn't realize that my Starbucks cup was still sitting there. So I ended up knocking it over onto, let's see if I have it here, some of my finished cards. So you can see here, there's a little coffee stain at the bottom. And then I think I might have ruined another card too. Yeah, this did not go unscathed either. So there was a little bit of coffee in here, and we were joking that it was kind of that vintage look. You know, like if you, in the past when you used to take like a wet tea bag and then dab it on the white to make it look like that sort of vintage. So mine had a bit of a weird vintage feel in some spots. Okay, so I'm going to take my, let's see if I can find my bone folder here. And I'm just going to burnish my card base here, okay? So this is just a regular card base that measures 5.5 by 8.5. I'm going to write these down as I go. So the card base is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25, okay? And then this layer here measures 5 by 3.75, okay? So it's half an inch. It's going to leave a half-inch border around, a 1/4 inch on each side, half an inch total. And then the 3 strips of designer series paper are 3.25 by 1.5, okay, times 3. Okay, so this here is times 3, just so that if you want to duplicate the card, then you have the measurements to do that. Okay, so let's take this and stick it down onto our card base. Oh my gosh, Heather. Heather says it's a new vintage looking class called Coffee on a Card. Yeah, maybe that should be my new Sunday morning Facebook Live, because it's not the first time I have spilled coffee on a card before. Okay, so on Jen's card, she kept her first layer a little bit bigger, so hers measured 5.25 by 4, but I just cut it a little smaller. I wanted more of the pale papaya to show. I should have put a little bit more in the corner here. All right, okay, so there we go. We've got our card layer ready to go. And then we're going to use 3 pieces of the Expressions in Ink Designer Series paper, okay? So I've cut mine to the same measurements that Jen did. So like I said, it's 3.25 by 1.5 each. And when you are using different panels of Designer Series paper, it always helps to stick the middle one down first, okay? So that way you kind of know how much space you're playing with on either side, and you can kind of, you know, you can eyeball it and just make sure that it's relatively equidistant or equidistant. I don't know how to pronounce that word. People say it differently, so it's not a word I use often. The number of times I've used the word equidistant in my life, I could probably count on one hand. It's not a word I use very much. All right, so we're setting this one down here. And oh, I'm glad. Hello, Laurel. Nice to see you. I'm glad that you appreciated that. Because I know when I watch sometimes other people's videos, I'm like always wondering, what size is that? Like, how did they make that? What are the dimensions on that? Okay, speaking of equidistant, look at how I messed this up. Oh boy. Okay. You know what I'm going to try and do? Let's see. Let's see if I, oh, come on, work for me. All right. Yeah, do as I say, not as I do, because I totally didn't put that in the middle. If you have issues with spatial awareness, then you might want to like actually grab a pencil and find your midpoint and just put a little dot there, which is clearly what I needed to do. Okay. All right. So we're going to leave that aside for now, and we're going to work on our layer here. So I'm using the Artistically Inked Stamp Set, again, a little different than what Jen used. And I'm going to be using polished pink, and I'm going to use the Thanks, okay? Because I feel like that's going to fit nicely here. Let me measure this one for you too, so that you know if you, again, want to duplicate it. This is 2.25 by 3.5. Let me write that down. I'll put these also in the description. 2.25 by 3.5, and then that means that this layer here is going to be 2 3/8 by 3 5/8. Okay, so it's an 1/8 of an inch larger. Okay, so you don't want to stick anything down yet because you want to be able to stamp first, and then, you know, paper has two sides. So if you make a mistake, you can always flip it over and do it again. So I'm using this gorgeous Thanks stamp. I'm just going to leave this here for a second. Can we just take a moment and just look at how beautiful the images and the greetings are on here? Like, it's just stunning. And I love that it has sentiments to kind of cover you for all occasions. So you have the hello, the best wishes, thanks, and happy birthday. Okay, so we've got that. And then I'm trying to think if I would like to add, do I want to add maybe some little flowers? Let me grab my pale papaya ink. I'm just going to make these really, really faint, just to kind of like fill some of the white space a bit. So I'm going to actually stamp them off, and it's just going to be like this really light. Okay, there we go. So it's really faint. I don't even know if you can see it here, but it's just a really faint detailing on the outer corners of that piece. Okay, so now that we've got that done, we're going to grab our Ephemera Pack, which I know. Oh, Elizabeth, good idea. Elizabeth just shared a tip. She uses the grid paper to eyeball placement, and so funny because I'm actually stamping on my grid paper, and you'd think that I could use that as a guide, but no. Okay, let's take this piece of the expressions in ink. So now, as I understand it, this is on back order right now, so I'm sorry that I'm showing you something that's not available right now, but back order is better than non-orderable. Okay, when it's on back order, you can still order it and you'll be in the queue to receive it as soon as it comes into the warehouse. And I'm not sure what the date is showing. I feel like the last time I checked it was oh, actually, I thought it was May 31st, but I don't know. I could be wrong. There were a few things that had gone on back order. So I'm going to take this piece here on the outside. Okay, so the Ephemera Pack is just all sorts of beautiful gold foil embellishments, I guess you could say. They're very fragile and delicate, so you want to just be gentle with them and just pull the inner parts out, unless you want to use them. There are ways that you could probably use these things too, like the bits that are coming out from in between. Okay, so I want this to frame my sentiment. Now, because they're so delicate, they're very, very narrow, you want to not, I mean, I'm going to use liquid glue, but you want to not necessarily put the glue directly on there because it's going to make a mess. We did have a couple of people yesterday that found that it made a bit of a mess. So what you can do then is take your silicone crafting sheet and just put a little bit of liquid glue onto your crafting sheet. Okay, so this is great to use when you're using adhesives because nothing, like you can literally peel the glue right off once it's dry. So I'm just going to dab that in here. Okay, so I'm just touching it there, and I'm using the other side and just lightly dabbing it into the liquid glue. You can kind of get the little corners here and ever so slightly. Okay, my hands are a bit shaky because, you know, coffee, and so I am getting a bit of glue everywhere. So then you're just going to set that down onto your white, your basic white layer there. Okay, and it's just framing the sentiment. Okay, so we'll set that aside to dry for a second. And I'm just going to assemble my flowers. So I've got these beautiful, good morning, Terry. I'm just sorry, I'm stopping to read comments for a second. Good morning, Deborah. Okay, so not saying you shouldn't buy, but since on back order, you can definitely make your own shapes with dies, adhesive paper, and gold foil. Absolutely. And Elizabeth, that was actually a really cool trick that Jen showed us yesterday. So we, in everyone's packets, they also got a strip of gold foil. It was a 2x6 piece and then a 2x6 piece of adhesive sheets. And so then what we did was we took the adhesive sheet and stuck it down onto the back of the gold foil, and then we cut them in thin strips. So if you look at the border of this card here, this sort of frame, it's actually gold foil sheets cut into 1/16 of an inch strips. And because we had the adhesive sheets on the back, we could just peel off the backing and stick it onto our card. So what you see here is actually one whole sheet of designer series paper with this beautiful gold frame. So we used, what's 1/6? We used about 1/4 of an inch of that gold foil to create this beautiful frame. So that's actually a great suggestion. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, glue dots, where did they go? Here we go. We're gonna work on our little flower while that glue is drying. So I'm just taking the Shimmer Vellum flower, okay, and then I'm just going to, whoops, set that down like that. So we punched out 3. And just gonna do one more here. All right. So after my video's done, maybe not right after, it might be like, you know, an hour or 2 after, I will update the description of this video, and I'm going to include a link for our next stamp camp, okay? So it's actually a link to a Google form, like a sign up form, and I have multiple events coming up in the next few months, including a really cool stamp camp in a box featuring the Bloom Where You're Planted. This is the suite that has all the really gorgeous plants and just amazing textures and patterns and all the things. So I'm actually doing a stamp camp in a box with that. So you'll see a link for that on there as well. And so check it out. And if you do want to register for our next stamp camp or any of my other upcoming classes, you can definitely do that on that form. So we'll update that. And I would love for more friends to join us for stamp camp. It was a lot of fun. And because we do it virtually, we can accommodate more people. So I think yesterday we had over 50. Okay, hang on. So I'm just taking, in the Ephemera Pack, you also get a sheet of sequins. Hang on, why is my take your pick tool failing me today? Maybe we'll have to use the pointy end. So I'm just using the sequins to create the center of the flower. This is not my idea. I just want to reiterate for anyone that just joined us, I am using a card that was designed by my partner Jen and recreating that with some little changes, okay? All right, so this should be dry now. And I'm gonna take that and layer it onto a piece of polished pink cardstock, okay? So just creating a little bit of a border around that white layer. You know what, Linda, I cannot ship product across the border. Thank you for asking. But I do have a tutorial, like I'll be doing a tutorial and the videos and all of that. So you can definitely access all of that. And so by all means, I can share the info with you. I think there's an option on there to get just the tutorials. So you can get all the instructions and then just order the product, and I'll have all the measurements and everything so that you can cut and you know, complete the projects. But unfortunately I can't ship across to the US for this stamp camp in a box. I'm sorry. But you know what, let's connect, and then I will I'll see. I can certainly, like I said, share the tutorials with you, and then we'll see if that would be something that would work for you. Okay. All right, so we've got this piece here. Our card is coming together. Kind of messed that up a little bit there. Now, before I put on the, what am I trying to say? Before I put on the flowers, I'm going to use some of these foil pieces in the Ephemera Pack. So I'm using these 2 here, and then I think I'll take this one here, and let's see how that will look. Okay, so I'm gonna arrange these. They're gonna get covered by the flowers anyways. So let me just, I'm making them look more fiddly than they really are, okay? They're not actually that fiddly. It's just that my hands are shaky because of too much caffeine. Okay, let's see. Is that too bulky? Let me see. Maybe I want to grab a different piece here. Okay, hold on. I feel like this one down here is a little too bulky. So let me grab another piece here. Let's see. They kind of all point in different directions, so that's what I'm having problems with here. I'm creating a little bit of a mess here. Okay, so we'll do that, and then maybe the other one. Yeah, no, I'm totally disoriented right now. Okay, we'll do that like that. I think that works, right? Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so I'm just gonna use my glue dots to stick that down after I move this stuff out of the way. And then our card will be almost done. Super simple, really cute layout. Again, I always feel like I need to emphasize this. Deciding on how to make a card is always made easier when you start with a layout, okay? So if you don't have these products, you can absolutely use the layout with a different stamp set, different designer series paper, different embellishments, all the things. But I think starting with the layout is always gonna make your task a bit easier. At least I find that easier for me. Okay, so we've got that. Okay, awesome, Linda. I will definitely get in touch with you and I will share that info with you. Okay, all right, hold on. We don't want to cover the thanks. See that? Oh, so pretty. Okay, I'm going to bring in the original too and show you. But before I do that, I'm going to actually, this is really bugging me because you saw that I had to peel this off of my card. I'm just going to add a little tiny dot of liquid glue here. I'm just going to hold that down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, that's better. Okay, what do you think of the card? Do you love it? I just love all the shimmer and the gold and the sparkly things. Love the layout. Here's the original. And here are the measurements, which I will include in the description. And I will let you guys look at that and tell me what you love. Oh, I'm seeing all the hearts. Okay. I love that you guys love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that you guys like it. I can't take credit for it. It's, you know, we always get lots of inspiration from other demonstrators. That's always my hope too, is to hopefully inspire you to create something. So I'm glad that you guys like it. And I hope that it's something that you could easily apply to your own products to make something with. Thank you everybody. Oh, thanks everyone. Yes, the colors are stunning. What colors to use, it's always helpful to start with your pattern paper as a jumping off point. Okay, now I see things moving again. I hope you guys could hear me. It was, I don't know if you could hear the music that was playing in my ears, but it was the most bizarre thing, and I couldn't concentrate. So sorry about that. So anyway, I'm glad that you guys like the card. Thank you, everybody. I love seeing your comments and all the little hearts flying across the screen. That makes me so happy. I'm just going to flip the camera quickly and say goodbye to all of you. So just hold tight. Whoops. Oh. Oh, what a disaster. It's never a dull moment here with Facebook Live, is it? Okay, friends, thank you so much for joining. I'm just going to make sure I didn't miss any comments. Thanks, Debbie. Thanks, Elizabeth. Elizabeth loves the pink. Yep, the pink was very popular. Good morning, Kathy. Oh, thanks everyone. I'm glad that you guys love the card. Sorry for the little interruptions here and there, but thank you so much for joining. I will see you guys all back here on Wednesday evening at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Mark your, put a reminder in your phone or mark your calendars, and hopefully I'll see you here. And if you have any requests or anything that you want to see, let me know. And I would love for you to join us for our next stamp camp if you are available on September 18th. And like I said, we will be featuring the holiday catalog products, and I think it's going to be another awesome event. I feel like they get better every time we do them virtually, so it'll be awesome, and we'd love to have you. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks so much. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.